Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about getting tarred with the same brush. Okay, so yesterday a friend of mine sent me an article from the Sunday Times. That's one of the major newspapers out here in the UK. And the article's headline was, "Google is cashing in on spy apps for stalkers." And the article is all about the many spy apps on Google Play and on the Android markets. Some of them are really bad. A lot of them are geared towards actually tracking the whereabouts of your spouse or your girlfriend, or spying on them, reading their text messages on their phone, and basically just becoming a nuisance. And a lot of these things are actually illegal, and it talks about how Google ads are actually making money from these. Google is actually making money from it, even though it's the app developers that do it. Right? Of course, the reason my friend sent this to me is because it's right in my wheelhouse. Like, my biggest app is called Ear Agent, and for the longest time it was called Ear Spy, right? So I see a lot of these things, and I see a lot of these apps out there on the app market, and a lot of people have advised that I put these features into the app, which is just crossing the line. And a lot of times I'm always thinking about what is that line. We don't want to cross it. We don't want to do something that's illegal. My whole thing was, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a spy, and what kind of gadgets would a spy have on them? One of them would be, being able to hear longer distances or whatever. So we did a very simple application, which was, take the audio coming in and have an equalizer on it, so I could turn the volume all the way up and hear better, right? And it actually was after we released it. I found toys at Toys R Us that did the exact same thing. A baby monitor does the same thing, right? So even things like when I thought about, people say, hey, it would be great if you could do it over the internet using sockets or whatever, so that you could listen to it like what's in the office from your home or whatever, or was anywhere in the world. And we would not do that because that was just too creepy. In fact, and when people keep asking us to put their SDKs in our application, it was too creepy. So I thought, no, this is going to be what it is. This is going to be the kind of thing that as a kid, a toy that I would use, right? And I have special insights into this because of the application. We get a lot of emails that come in, like for the last 5 years, right? We get occasional emails saying, hey, how do I use your app to listen to what my wife is talking about on her phone? Or how do I use your app I need to find out what my wife's text messaging. I think my wife is cheating on me. I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. We hear these things all the time, and a lot of times it's just a standard response that we do. We say, hey, we're really sorry about the problems that you're having in your relationship because you're obviously hurting, but our app doesn't do any of this stuff. It's just a very simple hearing augmentation app. In fact, last year, changing it from Ear Spy to Ear Agent was actually a very good thing for us, because it kind of distanced us a little bit from all that stuff. But when I see articles like this, I still have this fear of being tarred with the same brush. And when I think about this, I think about cookies in browsers. I don't know if you remember, but there was a time when everyone got really crazy about cookies. And if you're a web developer, you knew that you don't really get any information from a cookie other than, if the person visiting your site is the same person who visited before. You don't know any of the details about them. I mean, you could probably code it that way, but most of the time you don't know anything about them. You just know, and you could only hold like a few bytes of information on it. It was like ridiculous, but it got crazy. People said, these cookies are tracking you all over the place, and really the main reason we use them is because when you log in, HTTP is stateless, so if you hit a website 2 times, you don't know if it's the same person coming back that did before. You could get tricky and start using IP addresses and everything like that, but that's not necessarily reliable, so you use the cookies. So, and I can remember people saying, I just go through and delete my cookies all the time. It's like, dude, you must love logging into stuff. Right? And now we have to have that cookie law thing on our websites to say, do you accept cookies on this website? And some people just say, yeah, nice try, buddy, and remove it. And it turns out that some ways there are of tracking you. That's why the ads are able to follow you around all over the place. See, like my website doesn't have access to all the sites that you've done because I only have the one domain or whatever, but these ad networks, because they use little iframes and whatever tricks they do, I don't know, but they're able to track all the different places you've been, and all this kind of stuff. So as a web developer, you got tarred with the same brush, so we have to put these cookie law things on there, and we do that. The ad thing there, yeah, I worry about getting tarred with the same brush there too, right? When something hits the mainstream news, you think, oh, it's not. But for those of you guys out there who use the ear spy or ear agent, right, we don't track any of that kind of stuff other than augmenting the hearing and turning it up a little bit, right? It's what it does, right? And also, I talk about this a lot. One of the things when I first released the first app and just getting into the app marketing and the marketing side of things is I realized it's not always about what the thing does. Like as a developer, we think about what it does is important. The idea is important, or what the actual thing does, right? I can complain all, but it's not just what it does, it's the perception of what it does. It's the, you know, when you think about marketing on the positive side, how do people find it? You know, if your app is the best in the world, but nobody knows how to find it, and nobody knows it exists, it might as well not exist at all. The same is true if your app is the most legitimate, but it's tarred at the same brush as a lot of people doing bad things, then you might as well be doing the bad things, yeah, because you get tarred with the same brush. And you know, I wonder whether or not it's going to result in my app being removed again, but hopefully not, because I'm not doing anything wrong. But it's one of these things. So anyway, it's an interesting article. I'll include a link to it in the description. It just adds a bit to the drama, I guess. We'll see. But I mean, it is a serious issue. Like as a smartphone user, I mean, this kind of stuff should be investigated. These kind of apps should be removed, not with a sweeping statement like Apple does, saying we're just going to remove anything that has, you know, whatever in it, right? But somebody go through and look at it, saying, is this violating the rules? Is this doing something that it shouldn't do? Right? Is this, you know, is this breaking the laws in certain countries? I think that makes sense. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I think it's we'll see how it goes. You know, it's getting tarred with the same brush when you're not doing the same kind of thing. We try to be very much on the side of this would be when I was 12 years old, the kind of thing that I would like to have as a toy, you know, under the Christmas tree. That's what we tried to make it. And even though a lot of people try to make it out to be something more than it is. So anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.